It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, good morning. It's the 14th of August 2019. It's 8 AM CET, 7 AM London if you wish. Piotr here, meaning this pre-London Open live market coverage only here, only on Light Forex Global YouTube channel. Guys, let's start with a risk warning as usual. Please bear in mind trading FX on margin, trading crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all initial investment, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay, so let's have a look what we have. Monster squeeze based on the tariffs delay, and yesterday during our USDJPY covering, we got those information. We saw monster squeeze, and the very interesting thing, especially from that squeeze perspective, is that we are more than 12 hours later without the continuation. And I've been saying yesterday, guys, be very careful. Don't try to chase the prices. Let's have a look where we are going to be a little bit later, second part of the US session, Asia. And to be honest with you, there are always two sides, different sides of the case. Anyway, the tariff the delays, the back to the table, right, between the US and China, that's the one side of the coin, and it was very positive. That's what spurred that huge monster squeeze on the market, right? But there is a always second side of the coin, and the tensions growing on the in Hong Kong, the tensions growing on the border between the Hong Kong and China, Shenzhen. The troops are there, and over the course of the Asian session, we got some information that China accuses leading American officials of inciting chaos in Hong Kong, right? So from one side, there is a good President Trump, right, delaying the tariffs, and somewhere in the background, China is accusing US that they are behind what is going on in Hong Kong. Even worse, there was a Chinese data over the course of the Tokyo session, and it was very weak, starting with industrial production 4.8 with 4.8% with 6% expectation, 6.3 previous one. Retail sales 7.6, 8.6 expectations, 9.8 previous one. Extremely weak, right? And the unemployment rate even higher. So overall, we have this picture what is going on in China. I've been saying for quite a long time that the China is manipulating the data. Still think that that might be the case. So the data we got very weak today might be even weaker. Also, we've seen during the Asian session we've seen Australian wage price index better than what market was expecting. So Australian dollar is recovering and trying to hold the ground versus yen above 105 with Aussie Kiwi. We are going to discuss the stuff as well. Right now we just got the German GDP quarter to quarter a few minutes ago, so let me put the number to the chat window. As expected, minus 0.1, previous 0.4. No big no big move in euro dollar. So we know where we are from the Tokyo session, and here late Tokyo, beginning of the Frankfurt session. Let's have a look what else we have. During the European session, we have 8:45. Within the next 35 minutes, we have French final CPI. It's worth to watch, in my opinion. And then 10:30 a.m. CET, 9:30 a.m. London, we do have UK CPI. So probably that's the biggest event when we are talking about the London session. And you are more than welcome to join me this morning. 15 minutes ahead of the announcement, we are going to cover this event live here on Light Forex Global YouTube channel. So we are going to have a chance to discuss pound more deeply. At 11, half an hour later, post UK data, we do have at 11 a.m. CET, 10 a.m. London, we do have flash employment change from EU, flash GDP EU, as well as industrial production. When we are talking about the New York session, only import prices and crude oil inventories. So that's how the things looks like from the calendar perspective. Let's start to talk about the charts, right? That's the most important. So let's have a look. Before we will discuss FX, let's have a look what we have on indices. Monster Nasdaq squeezed to the upside, right? But let's have a look where we are from higher time frame perspective, right? Nothing has changed here into what we discussed. It is possible to even retest the top around 7,850, right? So to retest the latest possible demand from where we hit new high, right? So that's the levels over here. Upper shadow yesterday. We are fighting right now around possible supply here around 7,750, right? The question about the possible demand, 50% of that range, meaning the open from the previous day and the bottom, right? In case of no continuation, the bulls might be punished. From intraday perspective, some kind of the flag formation, that might be the name of the game here. That's what generally bulls would like to see, some kind of the bull flag, and eventually continuation much higher in that case. That could be something toward even 7,960, 7,970. Overall, that would work based on this flag, as well as the overall overall size of the waves we've seen till now, right? So that's how the Nasdaq looks like. So trying to talk about the levels, the bears for sure are waiting around current level 7,750, then again 7,820, and probably the final level it's 7,950-60. What we discussed might be the target from the bull flag, right? So patiently waiting for a little bit higher levels. When we are talking about the possible demand, let's switch lower, and we have the demand over here, which has been tested right after the move higher, so the latest manipulation. So in that case, we can agree it was consumed. So I'm not gonna be surprised if we are going to see attempt to pull back towards 7,600, all right, or even as low as the bottom 7,540 yesterday low. So we are in the middle of the road, watching carefully, especially the bear side, because that range, in case of no continuation, some late, right, that range, this 30 minutes candle, it was even low. No, it was 30 minutes. All right, 30 minutes candle, right, without no continuation. So there are, I'm sure there are some guys late into that parry, right, and that might be, they might be forced to cut the losses soon, right? So that might be the first wave of sellers, right, to cover longs, unprofitable longs, all right? So watching very, very carefully, because if we are going to fail here, yeah, trying to close that range, that might be the name of the game from the bear's perspective. Again, bulls will try to build the flag and try to continue from here. Gold, next. High wave candle on a daily chart. I wouldn't say it's an outside day because of the close, but it was very, very close. So from that perspective, some kind of the stabilization, consolidation possible, right? And in that case, I'm talking about the range we've seen day before, right? Monday. In that case, from the gold perspective, especially that the waves were equal, so there is a chance we are going to see something like profit taking in case of continuation, the risk on sentiment. So the high around 1520 as a possible supply, and the demand, right, around the weekly low before what we've seen yesterday. I'm talking about the levels close to 1490, 1485, right? So there was an attempt to break higher, there was an attempt to break lower, and we finished in the middle of the Monday range. Okay, so let's switch to the intraday chart. Okay, now let's have a look if over the course of this move to the upside, if we seen such a big pullback, right? There you go. Okay, so we've seen such a thing already when we had this long consolidation before the breakout. So what from here? I've mentioned Probably yesterday I've mentioned that the investment banks are the biggest short gold holders right now, and we are approaching the levels last seen in 2016. Okay, so of course the bears will try to take the advantage of the yesterday price action and will try to push prices lower. Now, what's the important level? I think that yesterday low and the low from the day before Monday low. So in that case, we might make some cleaning here, here, here. So I do think that's the crucial right now zone. The equal wave, let's leave it on a daily. So I think that's the crucial level, and in case of the move to the downside, how I would like to trade these things out. Some time ago, the things over here, right over here, they were, looks like head and shoulder formation, which was broken to the upside, right? So in case of continuation to the downside, in case of attempt to break lower, we might double the size of that move, right? In case we are not going to consolidate inside the yellow box, right? In case we are not going to repeat what we've already seen here, right? So we might try to double it, and we might try to retest the previous consolidation, right? 50% of that consolidation, as you can see, almost, right? We have some untested levels I'm going to talk about within the second. Now, I would like to see break, again, I'm gonna to look for equal waves. The algo somehow have to be set up that way. How high can we go to just try to hit $14.60, right? So there is a possibility we will see a little bit higher levels towards 15.20, and that's where I'm gonna to look for the selling opportunity, right? But my first target, it's gonna be this key zone here, right? That's gonna be the first target, all right? Something around 1490, 1480. So looking to sell gold around 1520, first target 1490, 1480, and in case of the breakdown, the full target is gonna be around 1430, 1425, okay? But after taking the half here, right, I wanna see the reaction around this previous head and shoulder, intraday head and shoulder formation around 1470, 1465, and I would like to see attempt to rally to retest this important level around 1490, 15, and I may renew the position from here. All right, so hopefully that's clear. But if you are bull on the gold, if you are a bull, then you want to try to trade the scenario with consolidation. That market will try to consolidate what we've seen lately, right? So similar price action like we've seen here, right? So again, in that case, if you are a bull, so something around 1485, 1480 as a buying opportunity at the bottom of this possible range. So that's how I see the things. That's how I see the things from the gold perspective. Now oil, if you remember what we had based on this manipulation to the downside, we had the target for oil. Boom! To the point. We tested supply rejection, officially EA, and I see oil lower after. But as you know, I do prefer to watch oil during the US session. So we are going to watch and monitor EA release. You are more than welcome to join me this afternoon, 3 p.m. CET, 2 p.m. London. We are going to do educational live trading room. So please join me this afternoon, and we are going to cover oil for sure. So some commodities, Nasdaq, we are done here, so we can get back to the game with FX. And here we have to start a little bit different way. Stay with me. Okay, guys, because of all this switch from risk off to risk on, dollar also gained strength, and one of the reason, of course, was the question about the US yields. And because of this strong short squeeze, we also seen the yields rising, right? But what I want, but what is very important, what I would like to show is where we are right now, okay? From the yields perspective, okay? We are still below 175, right? That's the key here, right? We are talking about the 9th of November 2016. We are talking about the post-election price action, all right? And this level's been broken. What we've seen lately is just the retest of this broken level, right? So watching carefully, there was an attempt again to get back above 75. As you can see, we are trying to consolidate. So what dollar needs is this type of the price action on the yields, right? Back above 75, retest, and then continuation march higher, right? Now, we have to remember another thing. We got good inflation number. With this risk on sentiment, it might be the market will try to push yields higher here above 175, unless the yesterday bubble is gonna to be burst quicker than we all think, meaning that we are going to close the gap we discussed a second ago on Nasdaq and stuff like this. So we are going to switch back to risk of sentiment, right? In that case, dollar might be under pressure from the yield side because of this, right? So let's switch to the dollar index. Let's have a look where we are. From the daily chart perspective and even weekly, because blue lines represent weekly chart, we are still doing quite well, right? So retest the bottom of the previous week, retest the bottom of the channel, attempt to break lower, gap higher at the open. So we might retest levels closer to 98. The thing with formation of over under around 98.15, 98.14, right? So that's where the first possible supply resides from the dollar perspective, around 90, around 98, right? So there is still some space for euro dollar, for example, to go a little bit lower. Now, in case of break higher, 99 gonna be the key, and the top of the channel, finally psychological 100 level, right? Let's switch back to the intraday chart here. All right, let's have a look what we have. After huge sell-off, we found the demand, all right, based on the weekly bottom of the channel. Based on intraday, we found demand based on what we've seen here in the mid-July 2019, the huge rally, right? So dollar is trying to gain from here. Now, from the intraday perspective, from the day trading perspective, I'm going to watch very, very carefully this price action, all right? So the rally above or towards the top of the consolidation, trying to prepare the flag. I'm looking for levels close to 98.15, 98.20. That's what we second ago discussed from the daily. It's nicely visible here, right? Plus from intraday chart perspective, because of this break to the upside, because of this breakdown over here, we have very nice supply zone from the intraday perspective, all right? So more dollar strength right now towards 98.15.20, and then a little bit of the weakness from the intraday perspective, so we might see the pullback and retest of that flag. All right, so let's try to implement into the particular currency pairs. Let's get back to the platform. Euro dollar in that case, right? So when we are talking about the 20 ticks, 30 ticks higher on the US dollar, it might be the case. We didn't hold, as you can see, we didn't hold here on euro dollar, breaking lower. So might be the case with the break of this consolidation level. If we are not gonna take the shadows into the consideration, just the bodies, we are going to double it. So looks like 11 might be tested. So this over under I discussed some time ago, right, might be tested. We have one more level ahead of the 11.10, 11. We have 11.40, 11.30. So that's the two levels I'm going to look for from intraday buying perspective. In case of the selling opportunity, would like to see, not sure if we are going to get there, but I would like to see retest of the blue dotted line, meaning I would like to see a retest of the weekly open, because we are still above Monday low, right? So we might see the rally back towards 112 and something around 112. Half of that consolidation with rejection, I might try to catch the shorts. So from the euro dollar perspective, almost no change into the levels, into the scenario. Just a little bit of the update from the shorts perspective, because yesterday we were waiting for the top of that consolidation, but because of what we are seeing right now, my first attempt might be around the weekly open or a little bit above, something around 112 plus, right, instead of 112.30 plus right now. And the first target is going to be lower, this manipulation level over here, 11.40, 11.30. Dollar yen, of course, monster move. All right, but where we are, if we are going to move and check the possible supply without the shadow, that's the supply. So there is a still chance we are going to see just move a little bit higher towards 107.20, and we should see some kind of the bearish activity. But I'm not sure if you noticed this consolidation and what happened after the breakdown. All right, so right now line in the sand for both bulls and bears, 107.20, 107.30. As long as we are below, the bears may try to take over again, watching very carefully. If no, it's a daily chart, right? So from daily chart perspective, a little bit of the patience is needed here. So if there is a no continuation to the upside, and we are going to try to reject every time we are retest 107, 107.20, so the weakest longs might be forced to cover, and we might get back towards 105. There was a 2 or 3 reasons, in my opinion, of such a huge monster move, and it happened only during 1 hour, right? There was a attempt to continue, but it was rejected, right? Few things. We were testing 105 psychological level. So of course, when market starts to move, some guys were covering shorts big. That's the first thing. That's no doubt about it, right? I bet that there was some invisible hands of the Bank of Japan pushing the prices much higher, right? Yields helped as well, so no surprise. But the real challenge is going to be for dollar-yen bulls right now around 107, 107.20. So what we might see from the bulls perspective, very similar to what we discussed on Nasdaq. We are testing top of the range, right, from intraday perspective. Look for the flag and continuation higher, right? Bears are looking for rejection around these levels, right? So bulls building the flag and trying to go much higher, right, towards 108, 108.20. Okay, bears will try to counter that flag, all right, around earlier mentioned 107.20, 107.30, right? So failure around the top of the consolidation and move back. At least 50% of that consolidation. In that case, we are talking about the levels close to 106.20. Okay, guys, almost that's it. 2 words about euro pound shorts. Still holding the shorts. Swaps here are positive for me, and is based on the medium term perspective. That's what we discussed, so no change here. We are going to check what is going on during our next meeting. Don't forget, we are covering UK CPI live, so join me within the next 1 hour 40 minutes. We are going to discuss cable as well. So 2 words about the Aussie dollar from dollar yen perspective. We are testing this 2019 low, right? Trying to somehow consolidate the level. The data wasn't that bad, but don't forget, next Asian session we are going to get the Australian job market, and it's very sensitive data, because that's what Australian Central Bank members are going to watch carefully. So in case of the positive data, and if the overall positive sentiment on the market prevail, that might spur Australian dollar rally. But we are on a verge on a huge breakdown, and in case of the risk worsens, switching to risk off, in case of the weak data, which might which might push RBA to cut even more, Australian dollar may break down. But right now, as long as we are above 70, 50 and 70 level, I'm going to try to look to buy, from the intraday perspective, look to buy dips, watching carefully developments on the indices, right? So again, very similar price action, trying to build the gap. The latest manipulation over here holds during the overnight move, and that's what market probably will try to hold and build the sentiment based on this latest breakout to the upside. More to come. Join me for UK CPI within the next 1 hour 40 minutes. Then join me at 3 p.m. CT, 2 p.m. London for educational live trading room. For now, that's it, guys. Have a great start of the London session. See you around. Goodbye.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.